Good morning. I am going to demonstrate the use of a coffee maker. I am working to induce Philip to do a tour of our kitchen, but I think a good cup of coffee is an important prerequisite to that. And this is something I do every day or every other day. And so let me show you now. This kind of coffee maker was actually invented in Berlin in the 1830s, so it's not native to silent film times. It kind of went out of use in the US middle of the 20th century because of more automatic style coffee makers coming into use. Step one, of course, is grinding the coffee. And yes, salmon was a thing in the 30s, I think probably the 20s as well. That's enough. So, now we have our ground coffee, and we have our water starting to come to a merry boil in the bottom pot. Here's the top pot. Here's the coffee filter. Isn't that cool? The little bumps in the middle here are just big enough to let water through, but not coffee grounds, and that's what makes it a filter. So we're going to put the coffee in the filter, and the filter in the pot on the stove. And I don't know if you saw, we have a rubber band around the gasket because the gasket's not that new. Seems to make it work. And what's happening now is as that water is boiling, it's building up vapor pressure. And it's actually a matter of the vapor pushing down on the water, which pushes the water up through that filter, making the filter bounce around, and into the upper pot. I don't see any air leaking out. And they talk about stirring in the upper pot, but as you can see, that's not really very necessary. In fact, I will do one thing a little differently than I usually do. Ordinarily, at about this point, I just turn off the stove there. You'll see the light dying out. But this time, I think to speed things up, though it will probably make slightly weaker coffee, I'm going to also take the pot off the stove so that it stops boiling a little quicker. Actually, a lot quicker. And pretty soon, we should see that the vacuum created down here, as well as, of course, gravity, because the water's no longer boiling, no longer creating that extra pressure, starts to pull the water back down, there we go, through the siphon again. And if we're lucky and the coffee doesn't cake too much, it will sometimes go fast enough that you can actually see it fall and rise down here. And what I may do is speed this part up a little bit, if need be, if it's slowing down. You can kind of see it coming up here. Cool, huh? The other really nice thing about this is that A, the bottom pot has never seen coffee grounds, and B, the seal around the top of the bottom pot, where the coffee is, means that although you are still losing esters out the top, I suppose you could put this thing on, I don't know if that slows things down or not, you get a lot of the coffee flavor in the coffee and the bottom of the pot. That's sucking air. Now we've got dry coffee grounds. So yeah, maybe I did use a little bit of digital magic there. But now it's ready to take the top pot out a little carefully. There we are. That's one of the reasons why this coffee maker died out a little bit in the middle of the 20th century. We have like 4 tops or bottoms that don't quite fit each other. Yeah, anyway, but this is really nice. So yeah, you know what they say. If you're not shaking, you need another cup.